Hello and welcome to today's Confessions of a Global Changemaker show. And I have a truly global entrepreneur who's a very, very dear friend. She's our ambassador for the Brand Builders Club in the Netherlands. She is putting smiles on faces all over the world. And it is such a pleasure and an honor to feature her on today's show. Loubna, welcome to today's show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, that beaming smile is what you aim to put on the faces of everybody that comes into contact with you, isn't it? That's what you're known for.
It's my unique selling point. Everywhere I go, you get this smile, whether you like it or not.
And people are always saying, how is it that you're always smiling? Like, no one ever sees you sad. You always seem to be the one that's getting shit done. You're always the one who is relentlessly positive. How do you keep that up, no matter what's going on? How? Where did you get it from?
I wasn't born this way. And I share in quite a few interviews and conversations that if you had met me when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, you would have met the most shy girl in the world.
You, shy?
Yes.
Now, guys and girls, how many of you already know Loubna and think, nah?
Honestly, you would have met the most shy girl in the world. I could be in a room and no one would know me that I was there. And fast forward now people say we can feel you coming even before we see or hear you. And I love Simon, unique smiling point. I'm gonna steal that one. I'm gonna use that one. I love it.
She's gonna steal the intellectual property on that. Gosha, hello, Victoria.
I'm sure
hello,
Simon
darling.
Won't. So it's been work. And it's been working on myself. I've spent a lot of time, energy, attention, and money in personal development, in getting to know myself, who I truly am, and not all of the conditioning that we get from a young age. And into becoming someone who's truly grateful. I'm an optimist at heart. I'm hopeful for the future. There is a lot of things that I see that are working well, that are happening. And I choose to focus on what works, what we can do instead of what we can't do. So yes, I will smile always.
A woman after my own. Well, Loubna, how many of you watching this right now, you've been through some kind of personal development, right? There's lots of things that we do to manage ourselves, manage our own emotions, our own emotional intelligence, and all of the other things that we learn outside, external to us, that kind of create the internal reality. A lot of people use what's out there to judge themselves on what's in here. But it takes work. Out of all of the things that you did, I'm really intrigued. Out of all the personal development you've done, out of all the books you've read, out of all the courses, out of all the money you've invested in yourself, what was the thing that we can all learn from that you actually learned the most? Like what was that activity or something you did that gave you the biggest shift?
Well, the most profound impact activity that I've ever done is going back, reviewing my life. And I've done it when I did my NLP practitioner, and I thought that I had healed most of my wounds. And I still remember to this day that we went back on timeline and we went back into our future. And as soon as I hit the period that I was bullied at school, I cried uncontrollably. And for someone who does not cry in public, that was ridiculous. I was like, no, this is not happening. That's all I was doing. And I could not stop. It went on for 45 minutes straight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big clear out.
Oh, yeah. And after which the two trainers at the time said, we are not sending you home right now. And I'm like, I want to go home. And they're like, no, you're staying here. I spent another 45 minutes in the room getting built up back again.
Yeah, and that's important. That's really important that you're filling yourself up with the positive things as well. We've got Carl who's on the call right now, and Carl, I'm sure that you definitely believe in topping back up, but I know a lot of people that put on events and they do personal development things where they kind of clear you out and then send you back out into the world before they've replaced you and or topped you back up again, replacing those positive things, stepping into the future, anchoring things into the future as well. Simon says, wow, no royalties necessary. Loubna, I'm really intrigued by your journey, because obviously I've known you a long time now. You've been a member of the Brand Builders Club, I think it's about 2 years, maybe even more. You've gone through a massive journey where you are now on a mission to reach millions of lives with your fun, flow, and freedom formula, which I'm so excited that she's launching this. Like, you've got to get it now. But you've just launched the Entrepreneur Sushi Club. So what has the Entrepreneur Sushi Club got to do with the fun, flow, and freedom formula? How are they connected?
Oh, they are so connected. And I'm really happy that you said that, because what I get the most is, why do you combine these weird things together every time? And I have crazy thoughts.
Well, it catches attention.
Yeah, I have crazy thoughts. And the Entrepreneur Sushi Club was one of them. What I see a lot when entrepreneurs get together is they talk serious business. They talk marketing strategies, sales strategies, which is great if you want to learn business tools. But in my experience, you should be focusing 80% on your attention on you as a person and your personal development. Whilst I see a lot of people spending 80% of their time, energy, attention, and money on the professional development side of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can tell you from experience, you can know all of the tactics that are worldwide available for you, but if you get in your own way, they are useless, basically. So last year I was thinking, I love sushi, and a lot of people know that I love my sushi, and I can talk about sushi all day long, and I will talk about sushi all day long, whether people like it or not. It's one of the things, it's me. I love it. Yeah. And when I talk about it, other people say, I also love sushi, really. And I say, another one. And that crazy thought last year was, how about Entrepreneur Sushi Club? And I would still think, no, but that's too crazy. They will really think I've lost it this time. Until, and I think that's one of the tips that I would most recommend, is you share it with someone else. And you share it from a place of, I'm going to share a crazy thought with you just because I want to. And I shared it with my dear friend, Gail. And she said, wow, that's a great idea. I love sushi too. And I'm like, you too? My first initial thought was, I'm going to create a Facebook group. And she said, you're going to create that Facebook group right now while we're together in the room. So grab your laptop, whatever you've got, but you're going to create it right now. She made me create it right then and there.
Was this happening at the event last year? Is that what you were all doing? Because I saw you were all like this naughty little corner. I could see you were getting shit done, but I didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, she was like, no, you don't talk about this. Now you've shared it with me. Now I want you to create it. But still, I didn't do anything with it, then create that Facebook group. And it was fast forward a couple of months later when we were at the Vision, Voice and Visibility Summit in Manchester. And we were talking, we're meeting Woon for the very first time, the podcast expert. And he was sharing podcasts, and I had another crazy thought. And this time I verbalized it out loud instead of in my mind. I said, imagine an Entrepreneur Sushi Club podcast. And I said it, and I knew Gail was going to say, yes, we're going to do that. But I didn't expect was going to happen is that Woon would say, yes, and I would love to be involved. And I'm like, oh my God, I just found another one.
There's another one.
And yeah, last Friday was the day. And the three of us were excited and scared at the same time. But we did it anyways, and it isn't perfect. And honestly, I don't care. It's out there, and we're having a lot of fun. We're creating this in flow, and we are embracing the freedom that comes with embracing our quirkiness.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing is you can create your podcast from wherever you are. And with what's going on in the world right now, you need to be able to create things from wherever you are.
And the best part is that ever since we've shared it with the world, a lot of people are, oh, I love that idea. Oh, I love it. Oh, what a great idea. And I'm like, okay. There are more.
I love it. I love it. It's like my mum, she makes lots of pottery things, as you know, and she had this badge. And I said, oh my God, can you make me one of those for Greg? This was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And it said something like, you're a great weirdo. Let's attract more weirdos like us, sort of thing. It's like we're all weird in our own way, and we attract other people just like us.
I hope you can see it, but this was a present.
Happiness is finding someone as weird as yourself. Yeah. I don't know that you're weird. I think you're crazy, but you're lovable crazy.
Oh, I'm happily crazy and not afraid to admit it at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what are the next steps for you, Loubna? You're really trailblazing this idea. You're creating. You had a toolkit that you were talking about at the Vision, Voice, and Visibility Summit that you were rolling out to entrepreneurs to really help them to get more productivity into their day, but smiling as they do it. So tell us about some of the tools that you've got up your sleeve that are in your toolkit.
Oh, there are many ideas of things that I could do, and the toolkit was one of them. Where I share 6 different strategies and tools that will support you in getting more productive, but from a fun, flow, and freedom perspective. But because of coronavirus and COVID-19, what I see the most is that before people can actually think about having fun, I mean, that's my normal. I can't imagine not having fun. But for the masses, it's absolutely abnormal. And I can be as funny as I am and have my unique smiling point, thank you, Simon, turned on maximum volume, it still won't land on fertile soil. So people there's something before that step, before you can actually step into the fun, flow, and freedom. And that is building your resilience and optimism.
Yeah, very true.
Those are the 2 that each and every one of us has to some extent. And you get a certain extent from birth, but they are traits that you can train. You can learn to become more resilient and more optimistic. It's not a static trait at all. And I think that because of what we're going through now, is I see a lot of people in need of building their resilience and optimism so they can go through these challenging times with a breeze, in a healthy and happy way. And when we come out of it, then it's time to really think about, okay, and how can I create that fun, flow, and freedom experience for myself? Because right now, they're just not ready for it.
Yeah.
It needs to become normal. You need to believe in it.
Yeah, it's a mindset. It's an absolute mindset. So, because your journey, you've gone from being employed and really not treated very well in that organization to stepping into your own power, to your own fun, flow, and freedom. But you went through that process where it wasn't very fun at first. So you've experienced this. You've experienced what it takes to create that resilience and optimism, especially as a business owner. I mean, how many times do we get knocked down, got knocked back? People say, well, a no's not always a no, not never. It's a no, not now. Well, it doesn't make you feel any better when you get that rejection, does it? And so having these tools is something that you're not only teaching to entrepreneurs, but you have large organizations all over the Netherlands who pay you to go into their organization and get their teams into more fun, flow, and freedom so that their businesses flourish even more. How do you get those speaking opportunities, Loubna? Because there's lots of people who are specializing in a corporate environment, and serving corporates. And of course, all these corporates have now, everybody's closed right now. So how are you pivoting through this change? Are you able to do things virtually? Are they still looking for people to do things virtually?
Yes. And it's going to be even more. I think that when we go now, people are pivoting because they have to. People are working from home, they're social distancing or either lockdown. So they don't have a choice. So right now, the mindset of most large organizations or entrepreneurs is, okay, I'm going to do this online temporarily until I've gone through the crisis. But I believe that after the crisis, we will step into a blended model. Where there's going to be more online on a normal way of doing things. So online events, online conferences, online meetings, and sometimes live. So if you're an event planner, you're most definitely going to do live events to get people in a room, but most of it will be online. We're getting to know, most people are experiencing that online can be just as effective as it is live. You don't have to get together and spend a large amount of money and time in one room. Anyone can choose. So yes, right now I've been asked to do webinars. I've already got an email from someone that I spoke to 2 years ago, live, and they've now asked us, can you do a webinar for our audience? I've been asked, can you do online trainings, because we might have to postpone our event and we want to offer our audience something in between. So I'm getting more and more of those questions.
Brilliant.
One of the things that I found is, and for those of you in the Brand Builders Club that are going through the personal brand sprint, is that people know me. They know what I stand for. And I am vocal about the weird combinations that I have, because I teach the science of happiness. And most people think, yeah, but you're a softie. You must have worked in HR. I haven't. I am still an ITer. And ITers think digitally, think in analytically, think pragmatically. So when I speak about how I can come in the organization or at an event to speak about happiness, I tell them, I'm an ITer, so what I will teach you is 5 strategies, very specific strategies. Your decision is, which one am I going to choose to implement?
Yeah.
So I don't have processes or concepts. No, I teach you very specific strategies, and I teach you 5 because I want you to make a decision on which one resonates the most with you. And then I challenge you to implement that for 21 days. And that is for the organization that asked me. They're like, okay, you're very specific. I mean, you're getting us to do things instead of just talking about doing potentially something. And I think that as a speaker stands out, because you're not going to spend time with, I'm not going to waste your time. We're talking about the science. Now I want you to get into action quickly, because I believe without a shadow of a doubt that if you experience what I'm telling you, is way better than me telling you.
100%. So let's I mean, you have no idea where this is going to go, and neither did I, and I never do, because I love these shows being completely unscripted, and there's always something that comes out of it. So would you be prepared to share one of those success strategies that you think would really benefit our entrepreneurs watching this now?
Yes. One of them is, do you know your strengths? So a lot of the, if you're talking about conditioning, what we're used to is, whether you're employed, is that people focus on what you're not good at. And you get conversations around, well, you're good at this, but let's have a conversation about what you're not good at. And they want you, especially if you've been employed, your manager will focus on, and what are you going to do to change those weaknesses into a strength, which can be done, but it will take you a lot of effort and a lot of time. I flip that. Your strengths are your naturally given gifts, something that you're really good at, and that you showed us when in the very first 7 years of your life. And one of 2 things could have happened. One is your parents noticed your strengths and cultivated them. So, for example, my parents saw that I loved reading books, and I didn't keep it at reading books. I translated the message of the books into teaching. So before it, I would park my brothers and sisters in front of me, and I was like, I'm going to teach you what I've learned.
Amazing.
They saw that, and they bought me a chalkboard so I could have
the
teaching experience to the max. Yes.
How old were you? Like, how young are we talking here?
Oh gosh, I read books before I spoke, I think. 6 years, I think, 6-7 years.
So you had this innate creativity born within you to take what you learn and be able to share that. Like, it's a part of you, it's born into you.
Even more so, that's when I taught IT, for example, which if you use jargon is very difficult for people that avoid IT at all costs. I'm known as the person that can give you IT in the most simplest language and get you in 3 days from absolutely avoiding it to wanting to study it in just 3 days.
That does not surprise me, because I think you could probably sell ice to Eskimos.
Yeah. And that's all because I turn complex things into simple language, in things that in stories that all of the people can understand. So they cultivated that. So they really gave me a chalkboard, and I just stood up, and all I could think was, I'm going to be a teacher someday. That's all I could think of. But the other thing could also have happened. If you were born in my time, which for those of you who want to know, I'm 40 years old, so it's quite a few years ago, and you wanted to do something arty, creative, painting and that type of thing, you might have grown up in a family where there's no money in that, don't do that, we're going to force you in a different direction. That it is a natural strength, but it hasn't been cultivated, so it's buried on a lot of layers of conditioning, and you've completely forgotten that part of you. And you can tap into that again. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're going to become a painter, but a painter is creativity. So how can you use that strength of creativity in a different way? So one of the things that I recommend to each and every one, learn your strengths. You find out what your strengths are. Bear in mind, you're the one who's blind for them. You won't be able to tap into, because
it sounds like an easy
a compliment around something that you're good at, and he said, "Oh no, but that's easy." That's your strength.
The things that you're doing naturally on complete autopilot.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? It would be really interesting for each of you to think about what are the last 5 compliments that you've received? Are they actually,
if you want to turn it into a real activity, choose 5 people. And make sure that not all are family or all are friends. So choose from different circles. Choose 5 people. Ask them to name your 5 strengths. So you will end up with 25 strengths. I will guarantee you will see a red thread. You will see some pop up that each and every one, no matter where they are, from what circle they are the same.
Very interesting. Brand builders, you might see people doing that in the Brand Builders Club. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, Molly has decided to place herself strategically behind me so that the whole world can admire her, which isn't that what cats do?
Exactly.
So, Loubna, you go into organizations, you work with entrepreneurs, you work with business owners, and you also work with people who just need that help and need that inner strength. And for you to, I think with all great coaches and mentors like yourself, you're not telling them what to do, you're putting the spotlight on what's already there and supporting them to flow. But it's not only these organizations that are asking you to come in and help them. You've now partnered up with Rabobank, I believe, to support even more people. So or is it Rabobank? I can't remember how you say
Rabobank,
it.
Yeah. Rabobank is a cooperative bank in the Netherlands. I've been a member of their members council for 6 years now. And one of the things that distinguishes Rabobank from other banks here in the Netherlands is that they really want to give back to the community. And they challenged us about a year ago to think about how we can be an ambassador for the organization. So how we can give back to society from what we know and from our natural gifts and talents. And I was like, okay. And one of those projects or one of those themes for them is help entrepreneurs grow. And I was like, okay, I want to contribute to that one because I'm very passionate about doing that. And while we were brainstorming on what can we as members of the member council do, each from our different perspectives and gifts and talents, today. So I said, well, one of the things that naturally happens to me is I get on a regular basis messages on mostly LinkedIn from people who say, I've been following you for so long that I don't know. These people I don't know. I've never met them. I've been following you for quite some time, and I'm thinking about starting a business, or I've just started. Would you be willing to have a cup of coffee or lunch on me, so I can ask you any questions about how you started in your journey, so I can go faster and avoid the mistakes and challenges you had? So what about if we offer that to the clients of Rabobank who are entrepreneurs, who are struggling, or just need someone to bounce back ideas on before they actually know whether they need an external consultant or whomever, because they don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And
quite often when you're a new business, you have no idea where to turn.
No, and the risk is that you turn to someone who you don't actually need, given the level you're at that moment, and you spend a lot of money and time and energy in the wrong thing. And I want to avoid that at all costs for each and every one of you. We've been through it. Don't go through it. You don't have to. And I got my other members actually very enthusiastic. They said, "Oh, I do that too. From naturally, I already do that naturally. I love doing that." So that's the idea that was chosen, and we implemented. And we just had an article come out in their magazine to let all of the members of the bank know that they can call the bank and ask for our expertise free of charge. You just have to buy us a cup of coffee or lunch, depending on what time we schedule it. And that's how I'm, sharing my gifts and talents with the local community here.
I love that. And there's so many things that we can do. There's so many ways that we can support, so many facets of strengths within ourselves that we literally take for granted, that were we to just shine the light on them for someone else, it would make an enormous difference to their life. I mean, really, that's one drop, isn't it? It's being that one dropreneur, going out there and being that real genuine difference maker. So, Loubna, we're going to get down and dirty now. This is Confessions of a Global Change Maker. What is one confession you have that you don't talk about very often that you've been through in your business where you would never, ever do it that way again?
Oh, gosh. Well, one confession, a fairly recent one, is that I almost at the end of last year, went out to search for a job and give up on my business.
Oh.
Because I made the mistake of working for someone who refused to pay my invoices. And that amount went up very high, very quickly. And that literally meant no money coming in, because that was my big client, and bills stacking up. And I was thinking, okay, if something doesn't change, I'll go back to a job, which I don't want. So one of the things that I've learned is to really protect myself from that again, because you can go from building a thriving business to absolutely nothing in one day.
It can, we found that out very early on. In fact, in the Brand Builders Blueprint, that's one of the things, I think that is the first thing actually that I talk about in terms of protecting yourself, is to make sure you don't have only one stream of income. And it's so important. It's critical. It's critical to every business owner, no matter what size of business you are. And especially if you're a consultant, a speaker, a trainer, an author right now, if your main stream of income was from speaking or from running events, then, a lot of people are finding out the hard way right now that you've got to diversify, or you will die. You're putting your business in a real situation, as you've sadly found out. And I'm sorry to hear that you were going through that, but it literally can be totally out of your control if you do put everything in that one basket. And I know that you've done a lot of work for a lot of people, and there's nothing more kind of confidence bashing. If you didn't have the optimism that you have and the strength and the resilience, that would have sent a lot of people who aren't you down into a spiral that who knows where that goes, when you get down to that level. But it's not a nice place to be. And I believe there's many millions of people right now will be in that exact position. And we have to be able to support them.
Yeah. No, it absolutely was not a great place, because I literally was staring at a path that I did not want to go on. I did not want to go back to a job. I'm ready to go, and I had to be realistic. If nothing changes, that's exactly where I'm going. Despite my optimism and hope, unfortunately, that hasn't happened. I'm still in business and I'm still going, but that's thanks to all of the seeds that I've planted, my position, getting something in place to be able to survive that. Because you never know. This was completely out of my control. I had no way of knowing that this was going to be happening. Just like a lot of people didn't know that Corona was going to happen right now, and you find yourself thinking, "Oh, I might be out of a job," or if you are already out of a job because your business has filed for bankruptcy, which a couple of the large organizations here in the Netherlands, have already done. So that means literally thousands of people are in a crisis and without a job. So it's going to get really tough. So yes, diversify. Do more than one thing, please.
Yeah. For those of you that have not been through the 7-step brand builders blueprint, reach out to me. I'll point you straight to it. It's a 3-hour masterclass that I delivered for our Brand Builders Club members to make sure that your business is strong. You know, it's one thing to say, I want to build my brand, but if you've not got a foundation and you start building, all you're going to do is build more chaos. You want to make sure you've got the business facets, I guess, in place to create a strong foundation. And there are 7 things that I go through where I take from 7 of the businesses that I built, I took one key nightmare, almost like life crushing or business crushing thing that happened to me personally in each one of those businesses. And I've shared that learning, much like you say, Loubna, supporting people by here's how I did it, here's what not to do. So that 3-hour session is, here's what I did, but here's what you're going to go do now to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's essential that you have that kind of protection in your business. And thank you for sharing that. That was very vulnerable, and we appreciate that you shared that, because you're not the only one that's gone through that. And there are many people that might be watching it right now who are in that exact position where you've just given them some hope that there is a rainbow, there is light at the end of that tunnel, and there is a pot of gold at the other end of the rainbow if you keep going.
I think, and I truly believe in that we should be sharing more of these horror stories, because one, you're sharing it with someone, just like sharing your crazy thoughts, share your down pits too, the very difficult times. And I'm so happy and grateful that I have a couple of people that I can always call no matter where I am in. And the only thing I needed at that moment was that venting, that 10 minutes of, oh my God, what have I got myself into? Oh my God. And after 10 minutes, I'm back to my hopeful and optimistic self, because I switch within 10 minutes to, okay, what can I do now that will set me up for this? And even if that won't go, if I will never see a penny from that money, what can I do now? And I switch into action. But just having those people that I can call, and they will pick up that phone, they will just listen to me venting, because that's what I needed. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
And then get back into action. So please, 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 if you find yourself in this situation, please reach out.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. If I can be that person for you, or Sammy can be, or whoever you would like, reach out to one person minimum. Please do that.
Yeah, that's key. Like I've been through moments, really dark moments in my life where, and I've shared one of those openly with brand builders, when my ex-business partner left the business and we'd built this company, and here I am, it's like everything that I'd built. Well, was I going to walk away from it because he did? Was I going to build it? How would I do that on my own? There were all these decisions facing me. And for about 3 weeks, mine wasn't 10 minutes. Mine was 3 weeks. And Greg was out with me in France. And Greg's great. He's such a master at turning any mindset around. But he just couldn't do it. And I think when you've got somebody who's really close to you, they're always the ones that say, I've been telling you that for ages. Why didn't you listen to them? And I've been saying that all along. But I think sometimes you're just so close to the person that you live with that, you should never be trying to coach that person because you're too close to them. And I wasn't listening to him. There was nothing that he could say that would make me feel any better. And in the end, he just said to me, Sammy, you've got the most amazing phone book on your phone. People would give anything to have the kind of people you've got in your phone book. like, it's time for you to use them now. You've done all of this, you've done so much. Like you said, you'd sown so many seeds. And I just put a message out to 3 of those people on my phone. Within 45 minutes, I'd had a conversation with one for about 45 minutes, and then the next one, who happens to be my mentor now. And really, all of those steps were. It almost was like that film, Indiana Jones, where he steps out and his foot is like, there's nothing underneath his foot, but he just trusts. And as he puts his foot down, the step appears, and then he puts another step and another step appears. And sometimes it can be like that, and you just don't know what to do. And I really, like, as Loubna said, reach out. If anything like that is ever happening to you, there's absolutely no need for you to ever be lost or lonely, not on our watch. Just reach out, because it's likely we've been through what you're going through, or we'll know somebody that we can connect you with that can help you to get out of the other side.
Or just listen to you. We'll just be those 2 ears that listen to you while you share your story, so you can order your thoughts and know, okay, this is what I need to be doing, is enough in most cases.
Yeah. Yes. Well, in a time like this, we must connect with community. This is the time. And I'm seeing so much beauty and light that's happening now. I mean, it's wonderful that, communities that were, semi-involved, they're now flourishing. People that were on a mission to do great things, they're now being recognized. The people that have great brand, who have pivoted in a way that supports the population, they've risen beyond anything that they could have ever done that fast before. This is a great time for all of you to really get out there and shine and be that drop you want to see in the world.
Yeah, this is also a great time to find your collaboration partners.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and you mentioned before, the Entrepreneur Sushi Club podcast, I don't know if I would have started that this fast if 2 other people haven't said, you've got a great idea, you should start. That's just what you need. Find one person or 2 that will say, let's do this together. What can we do together to support the world right now? And combine your gifts and talents and see what you can create, because it's more fun to do it with someone else. And there are crazy combinations out there that will absolutely do something for the world positively today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Loubna, how can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to find out more, or to reach out and connect so they can collaborate with you? What's the best way?
The best way is to find me on social media. I'm not good at email. So find me, and I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, both of them I am on the most. So if you follow me, connect with me, send me a message there, I will get back to you as soon as possible. So that's the best way for me right now.
Awesome. Right. So I'm just popping that as a banner on here so that everybody can go and find you, connect with you, and start collaborating with you. And I mean, you've been such an amazing support for our Brand Builders Club members in the Netherlands. You've really championed us there, and made a real difference to the Brand Builders members that are going through the program. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to yours, Loubna, and Yoka, who is also our relationship manager for the Netherlands and London, actually, right now for the UK. You both won a holiday because of the amazing stuff that you've been doing. I spoke to Loubna. I spoke to Yoka a couple of days ago, and I said, because she was going to book the cruise, right? And James sorted her out and said, "There's the money, get it done." And I said to her a couple of days ago, "Did you book it?" And she said, "No, I just had this gut feeling as I went to press the button. I had this gut feeling that I shouldn't do it." And so luckily she hasn't, so she could deal with it. I mean, probably the price of holidays and things, well, it's going to go one of 2 ways, isn't it? They're going to skyrocket so that people can afford to stay in business, or they're going to come right down so they can afford to stay in business. So who knows? You might get an even better, quality holiday in, is it Dubai was where you chose to go?
Yes. And I'm really grateful that I didn't, because I was intending to go in March, so I would have been stuck if I had done that. The next step was I was going to go in June. Well, with all the travel bans and we don't know what's going to happen, there's no planning a holiday this year. I don't know when I will be going, or if I will be going in 2020. I hope I am. But it's a guessing game right now. I mean, here in the Netherlands, just last Tuesday, they've decided that all of the schools, all of the restaurants are going to stay closed until the end of April. Large events of 100 people or more until June 1st. It's not going to look like we're going to be doing anything the first half of 2020. So yes.
But when you do go, you're going to go in style.
I'm going to go, yeah, that's one of the things I've got. Dubai has been on my travel list for quite some time. So I was going to go no matter when. But with winning the prize, I can go luscious, to use the words.
And I think you're going to be able to get an even better deal than you did before. So fabulous. Victoria said, how can I, even the dogs are excited about you going to Dubai first class. There you go. How can I support the global community with my styling right now if most people like their gym clothes and PJs? Well, I think people are in a period of inspiration. You know, how could you create thank you, Enya. How could you create almost like you could do like virtual parties and stuff and have people dress up and give them a reason to dress up, Victoria. You know, right now there are lots of people, they've got birthdays, anniversaries, there are celebrations. They can't have people around. They can't celebrate these parties. They can't do them outside. So how could you support them to dress up and still have fun, even from their living room? Maybe you could create some virtual events and have people turn up and dress, give them styling tips of what to do. I mean, we're going to come out the other side of this. And when we do, you could have already set them up with this whole treasure chest of amazingness, Victoria. So I'm going to leave that to you to let that roll around in your head, let that percolate and see if there's something you can do, and other people that you might be able to collaborate with. Somebody might have a magazine that they're putting out that's going out to, hundreds of thousands of people, and your styling tips could be in that magazine, or somebody who's a prolific blogger in the fashion industry, or even in cosmetics or health and wellness, and people are losing weight, so they're going to need style tips. They're going to need to know what, if they're going to use this 3 months off to sculpt their body, they need to know who you are. There's lots of things you can be doing right now. We need to get you doing crazy, get crazy in your thinking.
Another suggestion is, for people that are staying home, one of the things you can help them with is discover the treasures hidden in your closet. A lot of people have a lot of clothing in their closet they don't remember having had or bought whenever. So what if you could do something around discover the treasures in your closet, how to style yourself with what you already have? Don't think about buying something new. Support people in going through that. Maybe even support people in doing a swap party with clothes, or restyling with your current clothes. So you can go crazy with that. So I wouldn't go to how to buy new clothes or how to style yourself. What can you do with what you already have in your closet and rediscover it?
Yeah. Great idea. I look forward to seeing that one come to life. You're very welcome. But that's the power, isn't it, of turning up? Yeah, even Bo's excited for you. So, Loubna, thank you so much for your ideas, your creativity, your generosity, your happiness, your joy, the spirit that you bring to everything that you do. Keep doing it, because you are making a massive difference in the planet, and you're only ever going to know of 1% of the difference you're making, as Simon said. So really, really powerful. Keep making it, because you're making ripples, and those ripples are creating great waves around the planet. I want to thank you on behalf of everybody that you're inspiring right now, because sometimes we don't realize that value, do we? We just get up and we're serving day in, day out, and you're not necessarily seeing the result of it. But I hope that you take it to heart that you are making a massive difference.
Yes, I do. And thank you for having me and the opportunity to share my stories and confessions.
You're very welcome. I can't wait to get you back on the show, and let's see what Loubna did next. And
Oh yeah, what crazy
follow,
thought happened again?
how can people follow your Entrepreneur Sushi Club podcasts? Where do they find them? Have you launched them yet?
Yes, we launched last Friday. There are already 4 episodes live, and we will be launching tomorrow's episode. And that's a guest interview with the lovely Gosha Gorna. And this is a very, very special episode because she's doing a live demo of the expansion game. You really want to tune in for this one.
While you eat sushi.
While you eat sushi.
Shock, excitement. Do you eat sushi, Bo? He's unsure.
Well, I have been known to convert people to sushi lovers. So,
oh, fabulous! Well, we look forward to seeing that journey. Please post whenever you launch your podcasts. Please share them in the How to Build a Brand group, and let us know in the Brand Builders Club as well. And tell us how we can support you. How can we get that out there in the biggest way? So let's start by sharing Loubna with the world. I mean, I just think it's amazing, and it's so different. It's unique. I can't see how people wouldn't love that, even if they're not sushi lovers. Like, I'm allergic to fish, but I still want to learn it, right?
Yeah, especially because we're not only talking about sushi. I mean, that's why it's called the Entrepreneur Sushi Club.
Yeah,
we're talking to entrepreneurs about their entrepreneurial journey, and what combines us too is that we all love sushi. So there's a lot of gold we share in the episodes from different perspectives. So there's always something to learn.
Yeah, fabulous. Well, I look forward to watching this space. Isn't it funny how that life works? You set off in one direction, and then something happens, and there's a little twist, and then there's another turn, and then something else happens, and before you know it, you've created this global movement in something you could never have dreamed of in a million years. But out of this kind of Disney thinking, you've seen the vision, you shared the vision, and then you had other people support you to create the vision, and now it's just flow and freedom all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Just by sharing a crazy thought.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. So guys and girls, keep sharing, because there'll be someone out there that believes in you. And especially in the Brand Builders Club, we are in the business of packing parachutes so that you can fly. So let's make sure that you're doing that in a bigger way. Loubna, thank you so much for your time and your heart and being here, and for all that you do and all that you are to everybody that you come into contact with. And we'll look forward to seeing you in another installment.
My absolute pleasure, and have a happy day, everyone.
Thank you, Loubna. So guys and girls, that is it for today. We are going to see you tomorrow. Who have we got on tomorrow? Let's have a look. We've got another amazing guest lined up for tomorrow. We have the amazing Gail Dixon, the masterful messenger. Gail is an incredible woman. You haven't maybe seen much of Gail. She's been doing a lot of work and a lot of coaching support for Trish and Nancy at WPN. She's brilliant at coming up with brand messaging, positioning statements, really getting to grips with, what is it that you actually say about yourself, and what do you want others to be saying when you're not there? So we'll see if we can dig into some of Gail's messaging success strategies tomorrow. So be here at 5 p.m. GMT. Yes, we are. No, we're on BST now. We're on BST. I keep forgetting that we've had this major shift. I'll just get used to BST, and then we're back to GMT again. So we'll see you live at 5 tomorrow, whatever time that is for you in the world. We'll see you there. Have an amazing evening, and I'll see you bright and bushy-tailed for our next installment of Confessions of a Global Changemaker. Mwah! Big love. See you later.